Welcome back. Welcome in. It's Country Roads Confidential at earsports.com. This is a Paramount podcast. I'm Mike Casassa here. Saturday night, West Virginia has lost again, five in a row, 0-5 in Big 12 play, the first time ever. 23-17, the final score against Finals to you. Chris Anderson. Is that right?
What was that?
You like the right outcome, the right score?
Yeah. Well, let's see. The low score, I think, feels right. It felt like a choppy, ugly, whatever kind of game. Um, 23-17.
Mhm.
Are you trying to say that West Virginia should have won this game, Mike? Is that where you're trying to lead me to? Are you trying to lead me to that drink of water?
I won't say should. Not going to go there. Could for sure. And not just because there's an onside kick with what, 3:14 left. They're 2 for 7 on fourth down where they need to like and they're five failures and need like a collective 8 yards, I think.
Hmm.
I'll have to go back and look, but it was a lot of fourth and one, fourth and two, just push a little bit there. You give up short fields, at least I think of two scoring drives there. I know that they get the pass interference and the yardage, but there were some plays that if not pass interference, you're looking at I don't know, 30, 40 yard gains. There's a slight throw out of bounds where Cam Ball gets a foot out of bounds. That's that's bad team stuff, I guess. Maybe not necessarily bad luck. You'd rather have the big play than the 15 yards on a PI. You'd rather have the foot inbounds and out of bounds. There's a difference there. They're not good enough to win the game the way they played today. And yet, instead of seven or eight things going the wrong way, if four or five go the wrong way, the outcome may be different here. I don't think they're a better team. I think TCU had an off day that they can have sometimes. We mentioned that in the preview podcast. It's pretty providential, I feel like. West Virginia doesn't have the way to take what you give them and turn it into something.
No, they do not. And they didn't give themselves a lot of opportunities. One of the first things that stuck out to me, and well, right off the bat, it was what was it? The first three drives for TCU were in West Virginia's territory. They started in WV territory, but it wasn't just pro TCU in that sense. It was also very anti West Virginia with some of their stats. They had two drives that started better than their own 25-yard line. Two. And one of them was from their own 30-yard line. The other, of course, was the one on TCU's 35. But even just the 35 on TCU's and West Virginia's own 30-yard line, and West Virginia scored 10 points. Outside of that, their drives were starting at their 20, their 18, their 14, their 11, on and on and on and went. And it just seemed like West Virginia was always having to drive a good distance of the field while TCU was given opportunities to get, I don't want to say cheap points, but easier points than West Virginia had to work for.
Let's start at the finish from the preview podcast. The two things we talked about that would set up this conversation here, Chris. What are we talking about when the game is over? Who or what has contributed to the game? You picked turnovers.
Nope.
Well, they both played it clean, which is kind of unlike them. But boy, if Hoover doesn't put the ball in jeopardy sometimes, or just
Hmm.
give his guys a chance. That fumble at the end of the game on that third and was it 3rd and 3 where McAllister fumbles it. If that's recovered by West Virginia, who knows? And then Fox, by and large, kept the ball out of danger, except one time he fumbles on the snap where he's trying to do something with it, but he kicks the ball into the defender who's about to pick it up and scoop and score, it looks like, right? And then he ends up recovering it. So no trade of possessions there. The turnovers on down, do those count? I mean, maybe. I don't know. It depends. That's up to you. Then the West Virginia would be -4, I think, at that point. I don't know. That's tough, but clean ball on both sides. But again, Hoover will give you chances. That late fumble, it doesn't go the other way. I understand that, but if it does, who knows what happens? It's more interesting than 23-17, even though 23-17 became oddly interesting. And Fox for throwing it 41 times, for running it 11 times. I think he was sacked twice, so 9 runs. That's 50 times he's handling the ball. Rarely ever in danger. I think I don't think your points are relevant there. I think it mattered.
Yeah, and I think what is it? I'm looking there. It was three fumbles, zero lost for West Virginia. I think it was two fumbles for TCU, zero lost. Um, you want to start with Fox, like big picture Fox? Not maybe not big picture stuff, but today picture stuff, small motion picture stuff,
Can
indie
I go to
film
my
stuff.
point? Can I go to my point? What we're talking about?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Running game. That was
Oh,
my pick. Either the team that won the game, the team that ran the ball well would win the game, or we'd be talking about how it was such a failure for one of the teams that it was decisive.
I know one of the
I
teams.
mean, not very good, right?
No,
32 carries, 41 yards. You lose a bunch of yards on sacks. I understand that. They end up with 51 sack adjusted yards. TCU ends up with 104. West Virginia could not run the ball. And again, those third and shorts and fourth and shorts were killers. So give myself a star there. And then late in the game, Chris, TCU has a 13 play, 39-yard drive that took 6:50 off the clock. And it was handoff, run the clock, handoff, run the clock. Three third down conversions, all short. Third and two, third and four, third and three. And just move the chains, move the chains, move the chains. Wasn't emphatic. It wasn't even good at that particular time. It was just enough, but neither one of these teams could really run the ball.
no. And you pointed to or you discussed earlier about the fourth downs and how it was, what was it, five attempts for a total of 8 yards or whatever it was, something similar to that. The third downs as well, not counting the last drive. I had written this stat down before the last drive. West Virginia was 2 of 9 on 3rd and 5 or fewer yards to go. So it wasn't even like they were facing long. We've talked at length before about, hey, West Virginia's average third down distance to go is 7.7 or it's 9.2. Today was 5.2, or it was when I wrote down the stat, was 5.2. That might have been right before the last drive. And West Virginia ran the ball six times, again at this point, six times on third down for 6 yards. Like you couldn't convert on third, you couldn't convert on fourth. You can't do it when you're running. They just simply could not get any yardage at all, any push at all. It was something that Rich Rodriguez talked a lot about in the post game. Said they really emphasized their get off, like getting off the and getting into the block, getting off the line, getting into the block. I don't think they accomplished that today, but yeah, run game was tough. I mean, it. And what was his comment about the running backs? You're kind of trying to figure out where the blame lies with this kind of stuff. And he was just like, the running backs are not very big. What can you do? It's not their fault. It's like, well, it's true, but somebody's got to block for them.
um, I lied. Net of 11 yards on the five fourth downs that they missed.
Yeah.
One is the last play of the first half. That was 1 yard. And one was a fourth and six. So that inflates it a little bit too, but
Yeah.
really not a lot of yardage there too. Let's go into Fox.
Okay.
300-yard passer. I don't know how many true freshmen have done that in school history. And he heated up a little bit, Chris. That said, TCU's pass defense is flawed. We mentioned that before the game, and that West Virginia's best chance to be in this game was to air it out and throw the ball and see if your quarterback can do it, because you're probably going to have a hard time running against them due to your personnel and their prowess on defense. They're a very good rush defense. Their front is tough. West Virginia would either have the same offensive line, which is not a plus, or it would be making some changes, which could be a plus, could be a minus, but for the time being would be a question mark. Who knew what they were going to be capable of? Turns out not much. Not sure it was better. They might have had better performances, but the results were pretty much worse. And they put the ball in Fox's hands and by and large did pretty well. Found Cam Vaughn, found a couple of plays in moments to make the game interesting. And I thought it was interesting, Chris. It looked like the offense asked a little bit more of him today. Kind of did some deceptive stuff in the backfield with fake tosses, fake draws, kind of faking end arounds, rolling to the right a lot. So he's running with the ball, which gives him an option to pass or run. Just seemed like they put more on his shoulders. I don't know if that's the coach getting more comfortable in the game, the quarterback getting more comfortable in the week. That's it's a losing game. I understand that. I do think that it just makes things less intimidating going in right now because you're not a minus at the quarterback position if your quarterback plays this well. Will this be the final four games of the season? I don't know. Wouldn't say yes. Wouldn't say no now either. Are they going to play TCU's defense the final four games of the year? No, they are not. That certainly helps, but you can take this and go somewhere with it.
Yeah, there were things that they were doing again. We talked about it, like you said, the TCU pass defense not great. I think our both of our responses were, does West Virginia have what it takes to make them pay? And we weren't sure. And I'm not saying they did, but that last couple drives from Scotty Fox, not only did they move the ball down the field, but those were not safe throws. Like it was not, hey, let's wrap our quarterback in bubble wrap and hope he can make a handful of throws. It was we're going downfield, we're going in, we're throwing passes into tight windows, we're going one-on-one coverage deep. Um, it looked like, and you tried to prod Rich Rodriguez about it, about opening up his menu a little more as the game went along. It looked like it to me. I'm assuming it looked like it to you since you asked the question. Rich kind of said, no, not really. Not really. It sure looked like it because those were throws there in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter, that he has not been asked to make all season long. So it sure seems to me like I think Rich Rodriguez got some confidence in Scotty Fox, and Fox had some confidence in himself too.
Speaking of quarterbacks, see who's at the game?
I did. That's on my list to talk about.
Oh, you want to get there? Okay, I don't want to
No, no,
jump
no,
on it.
no. We can talk about it. Go ahead. We're here. We're on the quarterback topic. Let's talk about it.
The walking midfoot injury, Chris, Nico Marchio. I can't even say walking, the scooting midfoot
Hmm.
injury, Nico Marchio at the game. I checked in before they went to UCF. This is not becoming an urgent thing to me because I think the writing is on the wall here, but he had not been around. He had not come back. And he's there on the sideline today. Got a scooter on. He's got his right leg up on the scooter. He's got a walking boot, moving around, trying to follow the game. Talked to Scott Keen a lot. I did not see him engage in huddles and all that. Probably not the place you want to be if you're immobile like that in a scooter. Chris, you ever watch Band of Brothers?
No, I'm familiar with it, but have not seen it.
Oh man, this one guy goes away. I think he gets shot, and he goes away to the hospital, the military hospital, and he comes back after Bastogne, which is like a really bombastic fight scene where trees are blowing up because they're getting shelled by artillery, and everybody's like, "Yeah, welcome back. You missed all the miserable stuff, the trees exploding, the 5-degree weather." And I wondered if he was like the Band of Brothers. Everybody's like, "Hey, good to see you, Nico. We're 0-4 in the Big 12."
Yeah.
Maybe they were happy to have him back, but I felt like as much as it was probably good for him to be back, it had to be pretty difficult to not be able to do it and to have missed so much. But um, just just more of a Max Brown throwing on the sideline. I've just come to grips with Chris with the fact that he likes to throw the football, and that's it. Every time he got a ball, I was like, "Oh, he's going in," and then less and less during the game because Fox seemed to have it going on. But I think he just gets loose. So I wouldn't read too much into that now. That maybe he's getting in or taking over. This would seem to be Fox's job. I don't know who's going to be healthy whenever, but I don't. Someone's got to take it from it. Doesn't seem like that's the way to predict the future right now. I think he's probably settled in for at least another week if he's
Yeah.
healthy.
Yeah. I was gonna say, what was it? I think it was three straight 3-and-outs, or maybe there was a first down on one play, and so a 4-and-out, if you will. And I think you posted in the staff thread, Max Brown's warming up. I was like, oh, here we
Yeah,
go. Here we
yeah.
go. But nothing. And Fox settled down and the offense became okay. Um, let's not, before we move on from quarterback, um, post game radio compared this game to Pat White in Louisville in 2005.
Stop.
So I would like everybody that was listening, everybody that's discussing it to just, let's slow down. Just a tad, just a bit. I do not think scoring 17 points against
Have they only
TCU,
ever seen two football games?
scoring 17 points in a loss
Are
to
those the only two
TCU.
football games they've seen in their life?
No, I don't think so.
No,
But
I can't do
I
that.
was done with that. Wide receiver. How about this for Cam Vaughn? He was targeted on the very first pass play of the game, and then not targeted again until the second half.
Unbelievable. So
Like,
here's what's really interesting, Chris. Notably, doesn't do much, right? Plays left side, right side, left side, and that's the most exotic. Not in the slot, hardly ever. Doesn't motion in the backfield. Doesn't take end arounds or the touch passes. He lined up once in the backfield. We threw a parade
Yeah.
right? So doesn't do much, which is fine. If he's good at his thing, he's good at his thing. But that seems like somebody that you'd like to weaponize, put him in different spots, change the pictures, get him in like leverage situations where he's on a linebacker instead, or he's in the slot against a safety. Doesn't really happen. He's on the kickoff return team to start the game. He caught and returned the opening kickoff. Do you know how many times that happened the rest of the game?
Zero?
Zero. So part of me is thinking, all right, here's a way to get in the ball. The guy's dangerous. Get in the ball, make something happen on kickoff return. Like punt return is a. I mean, it's not the kick return isn't a skill. Punt return is a skill. Like you really got to be good to catch the ball with people screaming at you and all that stuff. Eastern kickoff, I think, which is not to say that he can't do punt, but I think it's within a week or 2 weeks you can heat a guy up and get him on kickoff return, and you're just asking him to catch it and run. Just like, hey, you caught the ball, make people miss, find the scheme and go. And now I wonder, was that like, I don't know, catch it and throw it across the field, something like that? Was he in there for a gimmick, you think? Because he wasn't back there the rest of the game. I don't know. But that intrigued me that, okay, here he is. And then you're right. First play to Cam Bond. All right. There was a meeting during the week. Perhaps they read the message board. We should get Cam Bond involved. And you're thinking, okay, it is. And then just avoid the rest of the first half. And then someone must have thrown a garbage can or gotten on the message board and said, "God, we got to get Vaughn involved," because he was very, very involved in the second half.
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting comment from
They could
Rodriguez.
not cover him either.
No, I thought it was an interesting comment from Rodriguez too, where he said he gets on a heater, I think was the term he used. Like almost like you're talking about like a 3-point shooter, like a Steph Curry all of a sudden is going to make
Yeah.
six threes in a row. And he's like pretty darn correct because like as he caught that one pass, and it was a pretty acrobatic and athletic catch, and I was like, oh, there's his first catch. And I was like, I think I started typing on the staff thread. There is our obligatory super athletic looking Cam Vaughn play for 16 yards. He will now finish with two catches for 30 yards. End of story. Like we've seen it too many times. And then all of a sudden, there's a catch 2 plays later. There's another catch a couple plays after that. I mean, all six of those catches, I feel like came in like 10 plays. Like it just was all in succession there. And I think going on a heater, as Rich Rodriguez put it, is pretty darn accurate.
Helps. You got a guy who can fling it around too. I mean, that's important. 12 targets, Chris.
Yeah.
Big
11 in the
number.
second half.
Caught six, but is that so?
Yeah. Um, Offensive line
Other,
changes.
other things here that happen. Yeah, I don't. I wouldn't pencil those in for next week. Is
No?
that okay? Is that
Yeah,
okay?
I think it's okay. I'm fine with not penciling in anything on the offensive line um, for really the remainder of the year. It's fine.
I just don't know how you can have those short yardage situations and be like, we were better on the offensive line today. Play it forward. These are our guys. I don't know how you can say that. They may they may come through the three practices next week as the starting five. That's fine. It's not because of what happened tonight. That wasn't a difference. That wasn't the result of wishful thinking or really good practices. That's putting five guys out there who you think give you a better chance, and they didn't really affect the game.
No, I agree. I mean, there was one point, and I'm repeating myself for some of the VIP members that are reading the board, but there was a point where I think Dior Hubbard got the ball in the backfield and got hit within a split second of him touching the football for like a 2 yard loss. And I was like, wow, that was fast. And on the very next play, Scotty Fax got sacked even faster. And I was like, that's impressive. That I can't even like be amazed by one terrible block that another one even worse comes through. And I'm running out of ways to describe what's happening there.
Mm. Chris, deep into this podcast, we have not given much time to the defense here.
Let's do it.
Uh, if not for the defense in the first quarter, this game probably gets blown open, I think,
Hmm.
because the offense was really bad. That's six straight quarters without a point to start the game. Chris, is that bad? Do not ask Rich Rodriguez that.
God, I was hoping that was going to be you that asked that, but it wasn't.
Well, I had the honor of asking the next question. I was like, oh boy, here comes like
Yeah.
the laser beam eyes. I'm very afraid for my safety right now. So let me ask the easy question here. Yeah, so they haven't scored a point in the first quarter since the Ohio game, which, by the way, they lost. Is that bad? It is. He also said, is it bad if you don't score in the second quarter? Is it bad if you don't score in the third quarter? Is it bad if you don't score in the fourth quarter? Yeah, turns out it is. He's right. But yeah, six in a row. I mean, I do think that's a shortcoming. I do think
Hmm.
it is. Is it any different than not scoring in the third quarter? Probably not. Ultimately, no. You have 0 out of 15. That's pretty bad. But to be on the back foot or take steps back every time, that's not good. Um, that said, it's only 10-0 in the first quarter. The defense is playing extra possession, stands up in the red zone. Yeah, the touchdown drive wasn't good, but it felt like with all those possessions and with no momentum from the offense and the possible woe is me attitude by a defense that has been scorched. It did not play poorly. It got some stops. It kind of held up a little bit. And then, honestly, the best was played in a while. And you saw a lot of things you did not see before: hitting, tackling in packs, pursuit. There were examples of that during the game that you're looking, going, wow, that's good. And it's simple stuff, but you just haven't seen it regularly, never mind often enough.
I'm going to bring something up that I was really eager to discuss, and then somebody beat me to the punch on the message board, so I'm pretty disappointed. But Jamori Robinson doesn't play in the first three games, and West Virginia's defense looks top 25-ish. He plays in the next handful. They look terrible. I did not see Jamori Robinson today at all.
Chris Chris Khalil Wilkins is injured and didn't play today. He has as many tackles this year as Jamori Robinson.
Okay.
I cannot take credit for that stat. Uh, Loyal listener who I don't want to out unless he wants to out himself,
Yeah.
has kept me abreast of the situation and was just said, "Hey, just want to let you know they're still even though Wilkins is in a black sweatsuit today." I was like, "Holy cow!" And I never saw Robinson. I don't know. I didn't see him out there. He's on the dress list. I didn't see him in uniform. I didn't see him on the field. And if he was on the field, that's probably an indictment a little bit of what you're talking about there. Just not affecting it. And their bandits were good today too. I mean, Oxley was out there for probably the Robinson snaps that were left over and set edges, made some plays, but Siders and Jones were good. They were good players.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are we doing the most tackles by offensive players that are above Jamori Robinson? Solo tackles.
Are there a couple of them?
There are a few that are tied with that. There's a handful. I mean, obviously, I think that it's from special teams, but Noah Bram,
Like, no,
that's
no
definitely
Graham.
that's special teams. Jarrell Williams, that's special teams. Logan Ramper, um, Landon Livingston's got a half of tackle, so I don't know if that counts. That's not the same. We're talking
He's not
solo
doing special
tackles.
teams.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
still, I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe they've just said enough is enough, and if they did, then okay. I mean, that's where you're at. It wants to lead me somewhere else. Are we done? I don't want to say we're done with defense because it really, actually, no, I'm not. I'm not done with them. I'm not done with them. Let's talk about. Let's give props to a couple guys first and a couple questions, a couple other observations.
Sure.
Um, a little bit more mix at linebacker. Like I saw a lot of Ben Bogle out there. I
Yeah.
saw Reed. I mean, Reed Carrico we see quite a bit, but he was a little more involved than I think we've seen him in past weeks. Chase Wilson didn't have the stats, but I mean, he had an amazing tackle for loss on a screenplay where he made a great read
Mhm.
and got up there, got the tackle for loss. Ben Cutter might have killed somebody on special teams on that onside kick. I don't think you had already made your way down to the field, but he had
I saw the
absolutely
replay.
zero intention of trying to get a ball. He just wanted
Yeah.
to spear somebody. Um, I don't know. It just felt like there was more going on there than there has been in the past few weeks. That's something I noticed the linebacker.
They I thought the defensive line was pretty good today. Probably the best has been in their losing streak. Devin Grant had a nice game. Never mind
Well,
getting the sack, but he
yeah.
broke up a fourth down play. Got a sack. Had another. I think he either had another tackle for loss. Just I don't know. I forget what my notes say, but he was active there, and they had energy there. Corey McIntyre played a bunch again in the middle, and was effective. Again, just like you're noticing him now a little bit more for a guy who wasn't even traveling before. Now he's playing. Um, and then here's two things I want to point out that I think were interesting because they haven't happened enough. But um, let's see, it would have been second quarter, I think, because they were going toward the hospital. TC was quick pass to the left side, and Coates is kind of caught in between. Do I jump the route? Do I make the tackle? He's caught in between. Guy catches it, spins away. Um, Carter races in from safety and keeps it to like an 8, 9 yard gain. It could have been 30. The way this team was playing, a week ago, 3 weeks ago, it's a huge game because the pursuit is really bad. Carter darts in and makes the play. quick too, which is good. It's a completion. It's a first down. I understand we're baby steps here, guys. Right? Third quarter, it was a battle. I think it was battle. Guess like an 11 or 12 yard run. Chris, there were 11 players in black in on the tackle,
Mm,
which isn't great because it's a first down. That's a 12 yard
yeah.
run, but they were all in there like, no, stop it, get the ball, rip it. I'm here, right? It was kind of crazy to see because I was like, wait, all these guys in white are over here running back first down. Let's go. I couldn't find anybody in black. They're all there by the ball. Are those winning plays? No, because they're both first downs, right? But those are things you hadn't seen. Like their secondary and their pursuit has not been good. They look slow with bad angles and just not caring. I don't know. You couldn't say that in that situation during the game. And then again, the pursuit by 11 guys to be near the ball. Okay, it's a first down. I get that. Again, we're grading on a curve here, right? That's seen way more like they want to play, and just a number of people who were in on action today, people who had smaller roles, people who didn't have a ton of playing time, they were involved, they were active today too.
Yeah, it seems like a pride thing with a lot of those guys, and you hope they have it. And it seemed like they did today, and something Rich Rodriguez pointed out afterwards too. Said he felt like they were more physical, they were after it, and that's a good sign. I mean, that was winning defense. I think like in a if you put up that performance as a defense for West Virginia, the remainder of the season, you might get another win or two,
Hmm.
assuming the offense can continue to take their own baby steps forward.
Hmm.
Mike,
All right.
before we can move forward, can I go backwards real quick?
Okay.
I don't know if you're ready to talk about this, but got me started on the Jamori Robinson t talk because we've discussed him as being a high-priced talent acquisition. And this morning, Pat McAfee, one of, if not the most recognizable WVU alumni right now. Like, I mean, I get there's people with more money that have been around longer, but as far as the mainstream goes, with him being on TV all the time, being on College Game Day, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, states that there is a finance problem. Not specifically, I mean, he goes into WVU, but he talks about college football as a whole and then tells the story of Rich Rodriguez calling him on a Wednesday saying that they needed X amount of dollars that day to pay a player the next day because somebody, a big time donor at WVU, had reneged on their offer to fund these payments. Take it away, Mike. I just gonna lay it up there for you. You go ahead. This is you were like, please let me talk about this. Oh my God, I want to talk about this. And I was like, you
No, it
go,
was
buddy.
not. All right. One, either Monday or the week before in a Q&A mailbag, somebody asked about me and my mic just McAfee and the level of involvement he has. Has he been the asset or has he been as helpful? I forget what the phrasing was, but somebody asked, hey, basically, what's the deal with McAfee? And I just said, I guess he's not having Rich on TV enough. And I didn't get it there. I think you pushed a little bit and you were like, no, money? What? And I just said, yeah, privately, because it's been private. He's done his part. I just don't want to get in people's finances like that. Like, um, I haven't talked to Pat in forever. Like, he doesn't call me and say, hey, I gave $1.5 million to the NIL fund. That which is not the number, right? But I know he's donated. I know he has. Remember, he vowed $1 million.
Hmm.
Um, so he's given money. So that what he said today is not a surprise to me. Okay. And I've said this before, and I don't know if people want to believe it or if they don't want to hear it. It's difficult to get from the pledge stage to the deposit stage. Okay. If you remember many, many years ago when they built that basketball practice facility, Bob Huggins wanted to break ground because they had money pledged, and Ed Passlong said, we'd like to have money in hand. There's a difference there, and this is not a new phenomenon. You cannot play, you cannot pay players with, I got you. I'll get you. Come on back. You can't. You got to pay them right away. They're not taking IOUs. They're not taking Visa check cards, right?
See,
Um,
this is if we had an editor, this is where they'd pop in with the Dumb and Dumber scene with a suitcase full of IOUs. right here.
What's an editor, Chris? Do those exist?
No, apparently not.
Fountain stuff. So yeah, like Pat's giving him money. I'm sure of it. I was sure before, and he vouched for that today. And West Virginia, I would not. This is what's going to make people mad. And I was busy today. Conversations I had, it was like a bit upsetting. Not at McAfee, but the idea that like West Virginia can just replace this one donor with somebody else. Like this guy's gone, here comes McAfee to fill the void. And if McAfee's not there, or if he's taxed, or if he's hired to be an ass, go get another one. You can't do that. But it also makes West Virginia look kind of bad because they had something fall through. And I think that bugs people. But like that story is absolutely true. It's absolutely true. Like it's not again, it's not new to you or me. Um, it was surprising to hear it. I don't know if that was green lighted in here. Like I have a hard time believing in coincidences, and we've been talking a lot about money lately, Chris. And why are we talking about it? Because other people are talking about it. Or was that an authentic thing that grew out of a part of the conversation? I saw the clip. I don't know what was before or after that. I don't know. I did not watch the show, so I don't know what led to that. Was a part of a conversation. I saw the clip. I was like, yeah, okay, we knew that, right? Um, I don't know how much further I want to go with that though. Like I know where you want to go,
No, no, no.
but
I'm with you though. I don't believe in coincidence. I don't think it's a coincidence that Rich Rodriguez is talking earlier in the week about, hey, we got no what it was his phrase. I'm paraphrasing, entirely paraphrasing, but along the lines of it'd be a lot easier to build a roster with more money. Like it'd be a lot easier. We'd get better a lot faster with more money. Comments like that, and then at the same time, same week, Pat McAfee is in a conversation about the state of college football as a whole in the nation. And it's not surprising that he's going to bring, I mean, maybe it is natural because he will and often does circle things back to his school, to West Virginia. But man, there's a comment, it starts leaking out about $5 million being shuffled around. Then there's comments from Rich about, you know, needing money and how more money, wanting to get to the 10 million above the rev share for NIL, and how you could get better a lot sooner with more money. And then Pat McAfee's on national television saying he's donating more money and some people are backing out. I don't think all that's a coincidence, no.
I think more telling, Chris,
Hmm.
was Rodriguez saying this past week that the roster. What he said was that it didn't happen as fast as he wanted.
Hmm.
Part of that was like there were struggles putting the roster together, and part of that was we didn't have the money to get some players. That's not the first time that happened, Chris.
Yeah.
It's not. Like they came up short some other times. It's not the only time that happened. It might have been the first time. I don't know, but it's not the only time where it was like, can we do this? We can't. Can we get it? The money? We can't. Also, I would say this. If our assumption is correct here, and I'm pretty sure it is, and the donor being talked about, and it's not my business to name this person, it's happened with him to another sport too. It has, and it's had to been covered by somebody else. So there is another Pat McAfee for another sport out there because of the same situation with, I believe, the same person. And it's difficult. And again, now can you go back? So again, you have this one person, you replace him McAfee. You have the same person who goes away again, and you replace him with somebody else, not McAfee, but somebody important. It keeps happening. And not just for one person, but it's just such a hard racket to have money pledged, but not deposited. And then to replace that for fear of losing the player, you have to go to somebody else and say, can you bail us out here? Which is not fun to ask and probably not fun to do either, right?
No.
Wait, why didn't you come to me first? Or I've already given money. I have to give more. That's hard. So these jobs are really difficult, but like it's happened a couple of times, I believe, with the same individual based on what I've been told, what I've heard, and what I've just built up in my library of NIL nonsense over time. Um,
Well, and I
I don't know.
think
I
we're
think you've been paying attention. This isn't. If you've been paying attention, I don't think it's a very big surprise. Like the relationships are not what they once were in certain corners of the very limited, small, exclusive West Virginia University donor universe.
in
Probably
and
getting myself in trouble here,
we
but
haven't even we haven't even talked about maybe the most important part of it, all the other part of his comment, where McAfee admitted, like he's already given money. Obviously, like that's not news. Um, but that how did he phrase it? That some of the payers that he essentially paid for are and I'm paraphrasing, but I'm trying to think of this exact, are already out the door. So players transfers that he had helped acquire from when Rich Rodriguez was hired to now are already gone. And again, now go back to those donors and be like, hey, I know you guys gave me X for 5 players and 4 of them transferred out before they ever played it down for the team. Can I have more money now? What do we keep saying, Mike? These people are rich for a reason because they're not stupid. Okay. Most
Yeah.
of them. And most of them are not stupid. Pat McAfee is not stupid. He's an incredibly smart man. He's built a business empire. He's doing all of this. He's going to see the writing on the wall about how this works, and he's going to be making, it's an investment for him, and he's going to be making these decisions. So him seeing that a lot of his investments so far have walked out the door before ever playing a snap, it's going to be a hard sell the next time you come around asking him for to bail you out because somebody else left. And maybe that's why for other donors, whoever they are and whenever they are already backing out. Who knows? Tough spot for West Virginia because somebody was saying, or was that you said it, or was it? There was like two billionaire donors that I think a lot of people stick to when they talk about West Virginia, and then but so and so and so and so in this school and this school have 10 and 12 and whatnot. And was it somebody broke the stat? It might have been you about the whatever the donation was for the Kansas stadium. Like that guy has 10 times as much money as anybody that West Virginia has to ask for money. So it's just an uphill battle here.
Um, I'm just trying to read some messages here from somebody that, um, how much of this I can actually, I'm going to read it first before I give any of it away. Um, all this does is make fans mad and think we'll never have enough money. So why should I give any? Um, I think that's like the fear, the cloud over a lot of this stuff here too. It's hard. You can do it, but it's hard to do. And when you think you have the ball at the goal line, football analogy, Chris, and all of a sudden you're moved back 10 yards and you got to bring somebody else in to get across the goal line, very tricky. Per McAfee's point too, I don't believe it was with this particular conversation. I do think it was separate, but someone told me that he also talked about how people who give money expect to have some skin in the game. And you called them his investments, right?
Hmm.
Did he invest in those guys? The guys who left, right?
Yeah.
I don't think he invested in those guys. Maybe he wants to vet them, but he kind of, I think what he also said, and again, this was relayed to me, but that people want to have a say.
No, this was part of his comments. It
If
was
you're
all
asking for
part of
my
the same
money,
thing. Yeah.
yeah, okay. I did not see this part of it in the clip. And I get that. And there's an agency that people have. Like if you're asking them for their income, they want to have some input. There's quid pro quo kind of stuff there. Again, I will tell you this: there is someone involved who wanted to have say in players in a sport, and no, we're not doing that. So what do? You say no to the money? Probably have to, right? So like that's another like that. It's such a razor's edge on these things because like the clowns cannot run the circus. Terrible thing to say because people have way more money than me, right?
Yeah.
But you've got to be really careful here because the milk can go bad if you're not careful. Too many cooks, all that stuff. I don't know how many more analogies and cliches I can throw in there, but you kind of get the point. And it's a real detailed process you've got to get right because it can go wrong. And here's the big thing, dude. Like what was out in the public today is not unique to West Virginia, and
No.
it's not rare. It's not. It just happens that a guy with a microphone and a very big stage and a very big platform and a very big following happened to discuss it as part of a larger conversation. I don't think he meant to out anybody and make West Virginia look poor or of poor form, but it's hard not to have those like, oh no, how is this ever going to work conversations? Because again, West Virginia does not have like a Texas Tech swipe, tap, go get this
Yeah.
player, just tap your card in the screen kind of a thing. It doesn't have that. And like I know people think, oh, they got wealthy donors. It's hard. And like a lot of those relationships are not what they once were. I shouldn't even say a lot. Relationships are not what they once were.
Yeah. Well, man, we could have spun that off to a whole separate podcast. We just cut
I
it,
have
put
a
it up
feeling we're
on
not done
Monday.
with it because I'm probably I have a feeling we're not done with this because I may go back and edit this, but I don't care.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong that I said or we said here. Like it's all factual, it's all true, and it just illustrates how hard this is. And it's exasperated by the fact that other people have it easier, not because it is easier, but because they have like a greater number of resources in the same arena. If you have someone who will foot the bill, you're set. If you have multiple people who will foot the bill, you're set. If you got people who are suspicious, people who have just not believed in this for a couple of years, who see a team that's not going forward right now, who see their investments leaving the team or failing to live up to expectations, it's very hard to move that ball forward.
Yep.
Not impossible. It's hard though.
Yep. Well, Mike, anything else about the game we need to discuss? Are we done there?
If they turn the lights out one more time during that game, I was gonna flip out. Like there were so many stoppages and players up the field, quick, hit the lights,
Yeah.
armbands, right? And I get it. Smoke him if you got him. I think it was a cool scene. It looked really fun from the press box, all the flashing lights and the wristbands, but I was just getting dizzy from all the blackouts and everything like that too. But again, I think that's 2 for 2 in the coal rush. They're 0 for 2 in the uniforms, but it looks cool. They made the environment different. It's not like a regular game, and I wonder how far you're up and seeing that in the schedule and be like, I got to be there for that. It's look cool on TV. I want to go, or I was there the last 2 years, or I was there the first time. I want to go back. Then they got something there too.
Yeah. All right. Well, usual stuff this week, except a little bit of basketball. Wheeling exhibition Sunday afternoon.
Great coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, could be a
Um,
handful.
I was gonna say what somebody said his kid was part of the interviewing process. You did
Yeah,
not
how about that? It's pretty
instruct you,
cool.
you did not instruct him on growing a top knot, which was disappointing for everybody. Shame on you.
I did not get any information from him. I should have planted some questions.
There you go. But-
How was Jackson Field's wrist? Can you find out for me? Can you do that, please? Yeah, never got there. Yeah, be exciting. 4 o'clock tomorrow, Wheeling, ESPN Plus, I believe. We'll have people on scene, and then yeah, we're back into it Monday. Um, I got some questions for Rich on Monday. I'll be there.
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Well, I got them for Monday. They'll be very good by Tuesday then. We'll
There you
talk
go.
again on Monday. Q&A mailbag. Check out the site. Plenty going on. Football, basketball. And I'm sure that we're probably going to talk about donors more than I'm comfortable doing it, more than I probably should. If that's okay with
Excellent.
you, Chris. I
Nah,
don't think you can be sued.
just because you want to, I'll do it just for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Until then, I'm Mike Casaza.
And I'm Chris Anderson.
We will talk to you next time.